Hello, I'm Greg Beadle, Chairperson of the Greater Cincinnati SCORE Chapter. Welcome to our first virtual Client of the Year Awards ceremony. This event is our chance to celebrate the reason SCORE exists. Our volunteers help entrepreneurs start and grow small businesses. 2020 was a challenging year for everyone, and especially for small business owners and entrepreneurs. When we started planning this event, we thought many of our clients would have sad stories to tell. Surprisingly, we received more nominations for Client of the Year than ever. Those nominations told us stories of tenacity, creativity, and compassion of small business owners navigating difficult times. Others discovered confirmation of their vision and the opportunity to grow. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the generous sponsors who are making this celebration possible. I'd like to introduce Dan Sutton, CEO of Kemba Credit Union. Kemba has been a loyal supporter of SCORE for several years.
Thank you, Greg. Kemba Credit Union is excited to once again partner with SCORE to sponsor the SCORE Client of the Year Awards. Credit unions were founded under the principle of people helping people. This founding principle is as much at the core today as it was 87 years ago when Kemba was started. It's our mission at Kemba Credit Union to build dreams every day, to build dreams for our members, our small businesses, and those who live in the communities we serve. Kemba's involvement with SCORE does just that, helps small business owners and entrepreneurs such as yourselves pursue the American dream. Kemba decided to partner with SCORE and continue to sponsor the award because we felt a very close connection to our purpose and yours. You see, you are not only building your own American dream, you are building dreams for your employees, your customers, and the communities you serve. It's this deep-rooted passion for serving others that gets us excited at Kemba Credit Union. We want to partner with those who share this same passion. I was also asked to address why entrepreneurship is an important part of Kemba's mission. Entrepreneurship and small business make up the backbone of the United States economy. According to the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Council, in 2016, there were 5.6 million businesses in the United States. 99.7% of those businesses had 500 or fewer employees. Firms with fewer than 100 employees accounted for 98.2%, and firms with fewer than 20 employees made up 89%. Sound familiar? We believe our role in serving small businesses is to inject much-needed financial fuel to help small businesses grow. By participating in this year's SCORE Client of the Year Awards program, we are excited to provide the financial fuel to grow small businesses. In addition, we hope to inspire other small businesses to get involved with SCORE and to take advantage of the many great resources made available. Thank you to SCORE for the great work you do with small businesses, and congratulations to all our nominees for this year's SCORE Client of the Year Awards.
Thank you, Dan. The Client of the Year Awards program is also made possible by the donation SCORE receives from the Knox Foundation. This foundation was created by Gladys Whitmire Knox, a woman of limited means who was born into an Anderson Township family farm on the eve of World War I. Mrs. Knox's care for others led her to create a foundation that could provide critical resources for the people of tomorrow. We are honored to receive the foundation's ongoing support. Now, it is my great pleasure to introduce Kelly Deehan, an active member of our chapter and a former small business owner. Kelly really understands what it takes to run a business, and she's a terrific mentor. Kelly will join me today to share the inspiring stories we heard and in honoring our winner.
Thanks, Greg. I'm thrilled to be here today. There's nothing more gratifying than seeing the success of our clients. SCORE serves all kinds of businesses, and they're all very different from one another. But we learned this year that they could find common ground in the face of adversity. Let's take a look at the companies that were nominated. No one could have predicted how each business would be affected by a pandemic. Most were faced with a downturn in sales and many closed for a while. But our nominees kept going forward. For some, going online was the answer. LaShonda Vaughn at Pretty Moments Boutique serves hard-to-fit bra customers with personalized attention and fittings. Instead of meeting with them, she provided free shipping and returns for online sales. She not only retained her loyal customer base, she grew it more than tenfold because customers really needed her services. Now in 2021, she's opening a new retail location and looking forward to seeing her customers again by appointment.
At Body Bakery and Company, Rebecca Ward creates and sells gluten-free, high-protein, healthy desserts. Her business has been based on in-person and website sales. But when the shutdown came, she pivoted to online sales right away. She increased online marketing, hired a social media intern, and expanded the platforms on which she offered products. These actions led to a sales spike that was sustained throughout the year. Rebecca is now well positioned for 2021 expansion in both wholesale and retail sales.
Other business owners found their way by really knowing their customers and staying focused on them. Wolf Pet Spa was closed for 2 months, but quickly reopened because they remained committed to the quality of service that their customers demanded. Their team grew as their business grew, and they've started planning for the opening of their second location.
For Anthony Cole Training, the economic slowdown allowed CEO Linda Cole to refine and improve services with new technology. She narrowed their sales focus to new customers with long-term contract potential, and revenue was slightly down, but they made a profit, they paid bonuses, retained their team, increased team unity and focus throughout the year. Bookings for 2021 are on track to meet their plan.
Creativity. You cannot say enough about creativity that small businesses used in 2020. From recognizing new opportunities to complete reinvention, entrepreneurs found their way using all the creative skills they could muster.
Little Rock Farm has been in business since 1938, selling meat, poultry, and produce to restaurants, at farmers markets, and at Northern Kentucky farm events. When in-person dining and in-person sales shut down, Stephanie Zink dreamed up drive-through events and collaborated with other farmers to expand the products she offered and to help her neighbors generate revenue too. Little Rock hopes to be able to resume in-person events in 2021, but regardless of whether they can do so, they will continue experimenting with new product ideas and resources.
As a manufacturing veteran of innovative materials and devices, Anu Visa of Basie Corporation saw the need for first-class sanitizing and stellar hygiene. Her innovation, now covered by several patents, is a technology that sanitizes using sterile steam and no chemicals. With the worldwide pandemic, the creation of this new company is particularly timely. The public is deeply concerned about the health hazards from new and existing microbes and potential chemical biocide threats. Basie Corporation is geared for large-scale production, including exports to any place in the world.
Starting a new business at any time can be daunting, but starting one in 2020 took real courage. Sanjay Shirakamani, a board-certified emergency room physician, started with a vision of helping people make their lives better through his whole life approach to coaching and training. Even while fitness centers were closed, Sanjay made the decision to build his facility anyway. When permitted to open, his team of coaches brought in their loyal customers, and Revive was up and running. Although they can't offer all their services yet, by using safe spacing and intense cleaning procedures, they have a good start, and when regulations allow, they are ready.
Courage is just one of the virtues Adrienne Onley used when she decided to open a Touch of Heaven floral shop. She has wisdom and heart too. Adrienne was first trained with mortar and covered some of her startup expenses with a small grant from Kiva. With additional support from her family and coached by Bob Leslie, her SCORE mentor, she opened her shop in February of 2020. A Touch of Heaven is strategically located near 4 funeral homes with no flower shops nearby. Even after the initial shutdown in March, when her accountant thought she should close, Adrienne was determined to keep going. She boosted her online presence and she built community partnerships. By connecting directly with other businesses in her neighborhood, they supported one another and created special promotions throughout the year. Her family and friends provided delivery services, and sometimes she even paid them in flowers. By the end of the year, Adrienne was covering expenses and showing a small profit. This is an amazing first year for any small business. For Adrienne's vision, her drive and her connection with others, A touch of heaven has earned our recognition as honorable mention. Adrienne will be invited to apply for admissions to UC's entrepreneurship program, and if she's accepted, her fees will be waived. Congratulations, Adrienne. We can't wait to see what you do next. Now it's time to turn to the stories of our 3 finalists. Our first finalist is Amy Connor of CMO on Loan. CMO on Loan supports the regional mid-sized business community with marketing strategy and services. Amy has led her clients through this difficult year, and here she is with Mary Jane Good, her SCORE mentor, to tell us how she did it.
I started CMO and Loan in 2016 after a pretty long corporate career where I was in marketing at the IMS company, Procter & Gamble, and then I continued on to Luxottica. I left that and thought I was going to go get another VP of marketing job and realized I didn't want to do that anymore. And I was fortunate enough to find people in the market who said, man, I could use your firepower, I just couldn't use it every day. And I thought, you don't need it every day. So that's how CMO and Loan came about. So we are CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer, on loan, so on demand for mid-market companies in this region. I found out from another SCORE mentor I didn't know, who I just met through networking, and she said, you know what, if you're starting a business, you should think about SCORE. And I immediately went online and signed up and was fortunate to not just get 1 mentor, but 2. So Mary Jane, who's here today, and then Bob Leslie. From the very beginning, even when my name was AAA Strategic Growth Advisors, and I walk into the meeting and Bob says, I don't know what you do. And from there, I changed the name. She was a trailblazer, 18 years traveling, sales in a male-dominated industry. Like, you can't get that experience. And so you have to be able to get it sponge it up from somebody else. And I am so blessed to know Mary Jane. Bob, because he owned his own business and he was the leader, I go in and sell to business leaders. And so I need perspective. Well, how would you see this? So it's really helpful to have both of them as well. And I don't know how I got both of you, I really don't, but I'm taking it and I'm not giving it up.
Well, you never stop learning when you're a mentor. I mean, you're learning all the time. You have the ability to be with people like Ames, and she has had a wonderful background. We have counselors that have tremendous experience in everything, and when you co-counsel with them, you learn. And so it's been one of the finest experiences I've had in my life.
In my business right now, 5 years in, I don't want to scale and grow. I don't need 10 CMOs around the country, although I know that the need could be there. I have 2 girls, they're amazing, they still like me, and I want to spend time with them. And so Bob and Mary Jane were super helpful at helping me say, you know what, you don't have to grow, leaps and bounds, but you better be consistent. So whatever you deliver, you better be consistent. So that's where my team and I got together and said, what's the CMO and Loan way?
Working with Amy has been one of the most delightful experiences I've had since I've been with SCORE. And I've been with SCORE close to 18 years. Wow. She is exceptional. I knew when she sat down with Bob and me that we had a winner, that she was going to be a successful business person. She had a tremendous background. And when she came, she was ready. She was like a sponge. And she came with her notepad and her pencil and with questions, and they had better be answered. And then after that was over, she would send us notes instead of us writing to her and giving an outline of what the next steps would be. We would have received notes from Amy telling us what was going to be done and how she was going to do it.
I realized even more in 2020 is that staying in touch with your current clients and just asking them how they're doing, and that's what this one shared with me a lot, was you just need to tell them, I care about you, I'm here to help you, I'm not trying to sell. So I didn't sell a lot at all in 2020. I mainly just tried to help, which was really fun, actually.
She walked out the door and Bob and I looked at each other and we said, we've got a winner here.
From a modest start at Findlay Market to a popular restaurant based first in Over the Rhine and now in Pleasant Ridge, Revolution Rotisserie is just the beginning of Nick Pizzola's plans. SCORE has been with Nick since the beginning. And here to tell you the story is Nick and two of his long-term mentors, Dan Nagel and Ed Byniski.
I had worked as a busboy at a fine dining Greek restaurant back in Chicago, and I remember they told me, whatever you do, Nico, don't go into restaurants when you're older. I asked myself the question, if I was going to start my own restaurant, what would I do? And so I started messing around with things in my apartment, and the idea essentially was I'm going to start small at Findlay Market and just do rotisserie chicken focused sandwiches, because I personally just had a passion for it. When it got to the point where I was serious, I had quit my job, and I said, I'm going to do this for a living, I realized, I don't know how to make a business plan. Over the Rhine Chamber of Commerce actually mentioned, hey, there's this program, SCORE, and they offer free, which was what I could afford at the time, advice, and they just tore me apart. When I went in there, I was 25 years old, and I said, I want to start a restaurant, and they asked me a lot of hard questions that I didn't have answers to, and that's where Dan Nagel came in, and has been just an incredible resource, and I've learned so much from him, and now I think that's one of our biggest strengths is the financials.
The best part about being a SCORE mentor is basically by meeting clients like Nick, because that's very energizing. They keep you current with what's going on in the world, because a lot of us are retired. So it's just a very invigorating thing to be involved with the clients at SCORE.
Ed's primary expertise is actually a turnaround specialist, and really challenging me to go from good to great.
An ideal client for SCORE mentoring, because he is smart, he's agile, he's enthusiastic, he's energetic, but he's very humble.
About mid-March, we were shut down for about 6 weeks, and I used that time to upgrade my technology, my POS system, online ordering, delivery, and then we opened up, and then there was the patios, where I was able to negotiate some good deals with my landlords as well as the city. So I actually started a business out of my Pleasant Ridge location called Milkman, which is an ice cream and donut pop-up, to fill in hours. So we had to socially distance the dining room. So I was like, well, if I take up what would have been 2 tables and make a little ice cream parlor donut shop, I'll do more revenue in that area. So we did that, and Milkman was born. And I decided, instead of just go on the defensive and try to, which I did initially by closing down my restaurants, I decided, that's not a winning attitude. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go on the offense. I think with SCORE, it is so incredibly valuable to have a group of people who have a great perspective that force you to reflect on a consistent basis on what you're doing well and what you're not doing well.
2 elements that made the biggest difference was how he handled his employees. He mentored them. And I think that's been critical to his success, is he takes the time for each person, whether it's a busser or whether it's a chef, to mentor them along. With the turnover in the restaurant industry, that's important, because then the people have a sense of belonging to the restaurant. So I think that's been the key to his long-term success.
There's an old saw that we've all heard 1,000 times, that when life gives you lemons, learn how to make lemonade. I think that's Nick's mantra, and that's why he's been successful.
I think that innovation, that excitement to adapt and innovate and just do the right thing has propelled me into being in, ironically, such a better spot now than I would have been if the pandemic didn't happen. I think the biggest lesson of 2020 is that periods of crises and the biggest challenges, those are the moments where you define who you are, and those are the biggest opportunities.
Elizabeth Field of the Cheesecakery is no stranger to difficult times. In 2009, when the economy was down, she started her concept from her home. Next, she rented space, then she expanded to a food truck and opened her shop in 2019, and just announced the opening of her new commissary kitchen. Let's listen to Liz and George Cordes tell us the Cheesecakery story.
I first started my business when I was studying business at UC. I wasn't able to find a job. The economy was just crashing. So a friend of mine invited me over and she showed me how to bake some things and I was intrigued. I had a mentor at the time that suggested I just make it a business. So I just decided to jump right in head first and I just started creating anything and everything for my friends and family, and it just kept growing and growing. And then I realized that people loved my cheesecake. So I just decided to focus on cheesecake, and that's where we are today. The most important part of having a mentor has been just helping me plan and project my projections, help me get really organized in my business, because without a plan, you'll fail.
I made her uncomfortable with where she was. I keep constantly telling her, you've got to get your books straightened out. You need to be able to have financial reports that'll help guide you on what decisions to make and where to put your energies.
2020 was a very interesting year for us, for sure. We had lines out the door for months, and then all of a sudden, when the shutdowns happened, it came to a screeching halt. Of course, all my food truck events were canceled, weddings, catering. So I sat down at home, I wrote out a list of all the things, how can I keep this momentum going? I decided, let's do online ordering, let's do DoorDash, let's do curbside pickup, all contactless, of course, carry out. And then I was approached by Kroger to do these pop-up events at their stores, which was really cool. And then the Dave Chappelle Comedy Show contacted us, so we did a little stint with them, which was amazing. There's only so much planning you can do, but things happen out of your control. So you gotta be able to be flexible and pivot, plan again, pivot, plan again. So those are the two most important things.
I've been working with Liz now 2.5 years? Mm-hmm. 2.5 years, and when I first met her, she was a very creative and ambitious baker. And over the time we've been working together, she's evolved from being a creative baker to being a very creative businesswoman. And now she's running a business that has multiple channels into which she is selling not just her cheesecake, but she has a shop where she's selling cookies and baked goods, and has really evolved from a person who is a baker to a person who is running, a prosperous business. Being a SCORE mentor is really fun because you get to help people be successful. And you're constantly finding new challenges, new ideas, and new opportunities to take your experience and apply it to new and current situations.
I would like to say that I appreciate my mentor more than he'll ever know. I don't want to start crying. Don't you cry. You're amazing. I couldn't do it without you, that's for sure.
I knew Liz was going to be successful when she told me she was going to buy a brick and mortar shop for her business. She was going to open a coffee shop that would operate in conjunction with her food truck business. And she had, at that point, was signaling that she was going to grow and she was going to be a business, not just a baker.
As you have seen, the competition for this year's award was keenly contested. The finalist who is named Client of the Year will receive a check for $3,000 from Kemba, and our other two finalists will each receive a $2,000 check from SCORE, thanks to the generosity of Kemba and Knox Foundation.
Greg, this is exciting. I'm so happy to announce the winner of the 2020 Client of the Year is Nick Pizzola and Revolution Rotisserie. Now here's Dan Sutton to present the award to Nick.
Congratulations, Nick. You did a fantastic job in a tough year.
Thank you so much, Dan, and I really also wanted to thank SCORE as well. Such an honor.
In closing, congratulations to all our nominees, our finalists, and of course, Nick, our winner. Especially I want to thank Jan Tribby, Carlin Stam, Brenda Bearden, Christina Lindgren,
And Mike Dawson.
Kelly, thank you for joining me today. To our audience, thank you for attending. We hope you enjoyed this year's Client of the Year event, and we hope to see you again next year.
Thank you.